Good morning, everyone. Thank you for tuning in today. I'm Jenna Stauffer. This morning I'll be speaking with supervisors of election candidate Barry Gibson. I'll also be talking with local author Mike Dennis and personal trainer Courtney Amon. But first I want to talk with you about a growing problem that continues to cause a stir both nationally and locally. This problem is the use of designer drugs known as K2, spice, and bath salts. Now, new laws recently became effective, criminalizing the possession and distribution of these substances, but a lot of people are still unaware of this. So I have joining me right now our Chief Assistant State Attorney, Manny Madruga. Manny, thank you for being with me this morning.
You're
Back
welcome.
on the show.
Glad to be here again.
All right, Manny, could you kind of explain to our viewers what these designer drugs are?
Okay, we have two different kinds that have become prevalent now. We have the spice and the K2, which is a synthetic cannabinoid or a synthetic marijuana, and then we also have bath salts. Bath salts are a chemical compound that's created. It has no legitimate use, and it's very similar to methamphetamine and also similar to ecstasy, which is a well-known drug that's been out there for some time. These substances have been around for about 10 years now.
Now, are these substances addictive, Manny?
Yes, these substances are highly addictive, and there is no legitimate use of these substances. That's why recently the Florida legislature has put them in the schedules that are enumerated for the purpose of identifying drugs that are illegal so that people can be punished for selling them. So now their distribution and their possession is illegal.
And now you can pick these up at convenience stores, right?
Yes, that was the problem. These things are highly addictive. They cause death in some cases because of the high level of anxiety they create. And these drugs were sold over the counter. Children could come in and buy them. So the legislature got together and passed these laws. So now the possession of more than 3 grams of it is a felony. Mm-hmm. And any sale or distribution of it is also a third-degree felony.
Wow. And now is the health department, are they going into these businesses and checking and making sure that they don't have them? They're not selling them now, or?
Well, primarily what's going to happen is that law enforcement is going to go out and they're going to initially attempt to educate some of these store owners that are selling these items, and if they fail to comply and take them off the shelves, then there's going to be prosecution involved.
And let's talk about K2 and spice. Manny, explain to us how it works. Like, this is something you smoke?
Yes. K2 and spice, or Red Dragon, it's had a lot of different names given to it, is a substance. It's very much like a tea. So the tea is the basic substance, which is harmless. The chemical is created and it's sprayed on there, very similar to the way they used to do acid or LSD, where you get the piece of paper and it has a substance, a chemical that's put on there, and that's what creates the hallucinogenic effect. So that's what happens with K2 and spice. They sprayed the chemical on there, it's rolled up in a cigarette and it's smoked, and it creates very much like a marijuana high, but even more intensive, and it causes health problems because of the increased blood pressure and heart rate and anxiety that it creates. The bath salts are different. The bath salts come in a powder, and it comes in a very small vial. And that vial or jar, the powder is used to inhale it to create very much like a cocaine ecstasy high, which is very addictive and has also caused death in some of its users. So there's a big push to get these very harmful drugs off the streets and out of the stores.
Now, I've heard about this numerous times on a national level. But is this affecting us down here in Monroe County?
Yes, there were several convenience stores that were selling spice and selling K2, and we have had arrests of individuals with these substances. And we also had folks that were arrested with other common substances like the marijuana and cocaine, and we were finding these, but they weren't criminalized yet, and it was very difficult to test for it because there wasn't standard test kits. But now that the problem has become so prevalent and some deaths have gotten a lot of exposure in the media, now there is a big push to criminalize it throughout the states and also to create the equipment to be able to test for it.
Now, would these drugs show up on any drug tests that people might have to be taking, or are these not? Do they not show up on the drug test like the other drugs? maybe showing up.
Initially, they weren't showing up on drug tests, but now they've developed urine tests that can detect these, so they are detectable. Some of the places where there is a problem is the law enforcement officer on the street trying to identify what he has. They use test kits, and the test kits are created for cocaine and marijuana, and there hasn't been a standard kit yet for this, but that's in the works.
That's in the works. Okay, well, it's wonderful that these new laws are now effective down here in Monroe County, so hopefully there can be a stop to these synthetic drugs.
Yes, and a big push on enforcement.
All right, well, thank you, Manny, for sharing all of this with us this morning. If people want more information, is there a website or anything they could check out, Manny, or could they contact you?
They can contact the state attorney's office, or they can go on the FDLE website and they'll provide some information.
All right, well, thank you again. And everybody, we have to take a quick break, but I'll be back with Supervisor of Elections candidate Barry Gibson. Don't go away.